Working Interferences is intended for mature audiences. Since the hosts never grew up, someone needs to be the adult.
Welcome to Working Interferences with Lance
and Holly,
the dental advice podcast for the average dentist. Here is Lance
and Holly. And we're back.
And we're back
with
on a very important date.
Oh, yeah?
31 years ago today, we met at a church dance.
Really?
Yes. I know you know because you already were talking about it.
How can I forget?
I know. I'm delightful.
I mean, that's what I said.
So delightful.
Yeah, 31 years ago, I walked into a crowded, dimly lit place.
Basically, he couldn't see what I really looked like.
Well, on our first date, I couldn't remember what you looked like, and you didn't remember.
You walked up and I was like, can I help you?
I'm like, I think that's her. So, yeah, it was dimly lit. Cast no judgment there. I just knew she's beautiful, and I needed to talk to her, but I didn't know how.
So you came up and talked to me about asking a friend of yours to dance.
Hey, Trent just got off his mission. Go ask him to dance.
I was like, all right.
You're like, and then you did. And I'm like, oh, shit. She's yes.
Kind of backfired in your face. Because Trent was a handsome boy.
Trent
he had the most beautiful blue eyes I've ever seen in my life.
He looked like a young Mel Gibson.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, and with better hair.
And he was very
and
short.
less anti-Semitic.
Yes, I hope.
Well, maybe. I don't know. He moved to Turkey, so I don't. He may be.
I have no idea. I'm not going to pass judgment or start rumors.
I don't either. But Trent's a great guy.
He is a good guy.
And so I have to give him some credit because he danced with you and made me kind of go, well, no, I don't want to dance with her. So then, of course, our famous story of, I then said, you should come over. We're having a barbecue. Big shindig. A bunch of people going to be there.
And I said, maybe. Let me see what's going on.
All right. So as soon as you were out of earshot, I informed everybody they were coming over for a barbecue, and voluntold a lot of people to come bring marinated chicken and such. So that was the beginning of the end, or that's how it started.
That was the beginning of the end.
Little did you know what you were signing up for.
That is very factual.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
who knew?
It's been a long haul.
31 years.
Yeah.
In a row.
That's yeah.
Well, kind of. Mostly.
Well, we had a break when you broke up with me when I was serving my Mormon mission with the Whitney Houston song on cassette tape, I Will Always Love You.
It was a way to let you down easy.
Fuck off, sir. You got one shot at it. I gave you one more shot. That's all you get. You fuck it up anymore and you're done.
Yeah. You realize, wait, what have I done? And then I fixed it.
Yeah.
So
frantically.
So, we recently, we had a weekend together, but yet apart. So this is how dedicated to our craft that we are.
We were away together.
Yeah. So, originally I had a trip to New York for this weekend planned, but then another obligation.
Because you were lecturing.
Right. And it was kind of a TED Talk type of thing that ended up great group. Scott Froome, a periodontist in New York City, puts on the AID, Association of Integrative Dentistry, and because he had what was the Medici effect, where way back the people that started the Renaissance, the Medicis, they decided to bring out the great thinkers, great people from all different things, not just the same group, that people that can collaborate together. You get Da Vinci there, and you get Michelangelo together, and you get all these people to collaborate, that you make a better event, better everything. And so that was the whole intent, was have people with a whole bunch of different perspectives to share. Because there was a guy there was a cardiologist, so of course I picked his brain, saying, "Can you get me off my meds? Because
I'm on way too many.
This sucks.
They're not voluntary.
I don't know that I'm supposed to, and they're not suppositories, right?" Because I'm taking it wrong.
They look like they are. They're huge.
So, Holly had to go to Dallas, and so we just kind of altered the trip. We flew to Salt Lake together.
Yes.
And then I got on the plane. Literally, we got off the plane and directly onto another plane. Like,
yeah, our gates were across the walkway from the gate. Gate we came through.
So immediately, I went to New York, and you went to Dallas, and we did our.
Spent 2 days doing our thing. I was in a course for medical billing, and you were in a course. Well, you were at
the TED Talk thing.
Conference, and then we both got on a plane and we flew back to Salt Lake. And I picked you up at your gate, just like we did back in 1999. And then we both loaded a flight home to Seattle, and then we flew home and laid
for
around
those
all day
that
yesterday.
wonder, chivalry is not dead. I got bumped to first class and gave
And he
my
gave
ticket
it to me.
Look
Yeah.
at me. How's that?
It was delightful.
It sucked. I'm in the back going, wait a minute. What have I done?
He sent me a text. Wait a minute, I want my seat back. Come trade with me.
Yeah, you didn't even respond.
Nope. Turn my phone off. Fuck off. Snooze to lose.
Yeah, that was, I don't know. I just kept counting on you getting bumped and upgraded to be next to me, and that just didn't happen. So, but luckily we had a day to recover and sleep in and just kind of veg, because I knew today was going to be chaos.
Yeah, he had a major surgery today with a recovering addict, which was
That's always
crazy
fun.
and stressful, but it turned out okay. I think he's going to have an amazing result.
I think it's going to be great.
We've already done his mom, and the transformation's just spectacular that way.
Yeah, I had visions. We had another recovering addict in January.
Oh my God, that was so traumatic for our anesthesiologist. What the fuck?
At one point, the guy he was just done and ran down the hall.
His body fought the anesthesia the entire time.
He was arguing with me.
Craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, dude, it's like those crazy people that you see on television shows that are so strung out on crack that they like lift a car and and so he decided he was done, kind of bit my fingers. He's flapped, he's got implants placed, but it was
nothing
insane.
else.
The anesthesiologist was like, I can't give him any more drug. There's literally nothing left to give him.
Yeah, and he run down. I mean, I guess the bathroom looked like a Dexter room.
Looked like a Dexter kill room. There was blood splattering on the walls in the hallway, going to the elevator to the main part of the building, and it was crazy. But
so
today went much better.
I had visions of January, but today went so much better.
And I felt so bad because we hadn't had this anesthesiologist back since that last time. And I
didn't realize it.
I was like, oh my God, does he think that the reason we didn't have him back was because that happened? And it was just such a freak thing. I mean, the guy today.
Well, to be fair, we have several cases. We just say, hey, you probably don't need to be sedated.
Let's not do that. We don't want to do that anymore.
So I've probably done like 4 or 5 arches without it going, why aren't they sedated? This sucks.
But still, I mean, that when they're recovering addict, it's so unpredictable. Like the guy that we had his blood drawn today and we spun it for your membranes. It was so crazy.
Trying to do PRF.
The PRF never congealed.
Yeah.
It never turned into a plug. I went to pull it and it was all still liquid, but all of the blood underneath it had
the red blood cells.
Yeah, all had congealed and it was solid, but everything above it was liquid. It was so bizarre. So I finally just pulled the liquid at what it's called, the PRF.
PRP, I guess, at that point.
Yeah, so I pulled the PRP into a syringe and then I put it in.
I guess it would be PRF still, but
And then I put it in the cooker to thicken it up so that you would have some kind of
the ALB PRF
membrane to pack in there so it would stay and take a while.
This guy, and this was amazing how much granulation tissue was. I mean, get the teeth out. The hygienists out there that really love seeing teeth with caked on barnacles, so they can scale them off. Well, here I extracted full on caked on barnacle teeth, but as a result, it was really hard to reflect the tissues. Trying to get it to stop bleeding. I mean, there was just so much extra tissue to bleed that it was just. Yeah.
And we had already done quad therapy on him. I mean, there's just.
We started just to give people at no charge. We don't charge for it. We just have them Cavitroned.
Yeah.
And it's either that's just how bad it was, or a sign of how piece of shit my hygienist is. So it could be both. So
let's hope it's the latter.
It's the latter. He just had so much.
But so yeah, that was our day today and
Yeah.
our weekend of CE. And
Yeah.
I ended up getting up and walking out of my CE before it was done because I don't like the dick measuring situation that occurs when meatheads meet dentists.
So you can't go to any dental CE.
I know.
'Cause it's mostly dick measuring.
It is a huge, it's a struggle for me.
Did you say huge?
Dude, what other kind of stretches do you do? What the fuck is that? I have meathead number one giving me the lecture, who used to be, what's it called again?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
But I told you. This
Oh, I wasn't
trainer.
listening.
Fuck off. It's that stupid training that, oh, you know how somebody's a blah, blah, blah? Well, they'll tell you.
Oh, CrossFit.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That fucking CrossFit coach. And he's got no neck. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, dude, what? Put some pants on. He's wearing shorts at his lecture, fucking loser.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he thinks he's all that in a box of chocolate. The thing that no one told him is that he's fucking old. So I'm sorry, there is a limit. You can still have a great body and be older, but there's a limit. And then when the other meathead who's trying to be your friend in the audience is like, what other stretches do you want?
What's your bench?
And then he's like, well, why don't you come up here and I'll show you? And then the next thing you
Really?
know, they're working out together in this conference, and I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. I don't have time for your guys' bullshit. I have a drink waiting for me at the airport.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
God.
just was like, what is happening?
Yeah. Well,
I am not.
buckle up, Buttercup.
I'm glad they didn't give me please review this lecture.
Well, if you would have stayed to the end, you would have.
I would have.
Yeah.
It's a good thing I missed it because I've been like, what the fuck? Never again.
Mm-hmm.
Don't waste my time.
Interesting. Okay. Well, now we all know how Holly feels about CrossFitters.
I don't mind a CrossFitter. I don't fucking care that you do CrossFit.
Do you not listen to yourself like 5 minutes ago?
I don't want you doing CrossFit with the other bonehead next to me
Okay. All right.
at a dental.
Because I was going to get fit and just like shed all this weight on doing CrossFit, but not anymore. I don't know.
You're serious.
I don't know why you're laughing so hard. It's not that funny.
Okay. Well,
Whatever.
we had some good feedback from last
Yeah, we
week.
did.
Well, you got good feedback. No one ever tells me shit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, I mean, because to be fair.
I don't listen.
What?
Yep. That's what I said.
Well, Holly, this is an advice show.
Oh, okay. I wanted to thank those people that gave us feedback because it actually makes a fucking difference and it actually makes us want to do this.
Okay. All right.
So let's give a little bit of props. I don't even know who they were.
Matt Standrich really appreciated some of the words of wisdom in Wichita. Shout out to Matt. Hey, Matt. Hope your mom's doing well.
Review.
Send
rate
us,
and reviews.
rate and reviews. That'd be great.
We haven't had a review since October since we quit.
This is true.
So I really feel like somebody needs to step up their shit because, you know, I do need a little bit of recognition that this isn't a waste of my time.
Yeah, don't
Quit my day job.
Yeah. Anthony Gonzalez in Corpus Christi really loved your comments about being a consultant and basically saying collect the damn money. You don't work for the fucking public. You work for your boss.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah.
That's it, I guess. Sorry.
Both our listeners really enjoyed the episode.
Beef up. Sorry for the letdown, folks. That was it. I see. That's how hungry we are.
Yeah.
For
I hope you're both having a great day. And Gina said some nice words as well. So
really? You didn't tell me about that one.
Didn't I?
No.
Oh.
You told me the week before when she wanted us to play her song.
Okay. Well, she was happy we played her song. So.
Oh, good.
So anyway, so you've enjoyed the Facebook because it used to be that we'd answer questions from Reddit. But that hasn't been the source of our fodder for a little while.
No, because it's like a train wreck.
It is.
And it's just,
Well, and then I got in an argument with somebody on Reddit, another dentist, because they wanted someone Person was saying, pissed off that I'm 23 years old. My dentist recommended veneers. This is malpractice, right? Should I turn him in? And I'm sitting there going, fuck you, you piece of shit. You don't have to say yes. And so well,
it depends on what the question you asked him was.
Yeah,
I want
this person,
my teeth to look beautiful. In
I've worn them down, and there's a chip in the corner. What should I do? And the guy's like, pour some veneers. And the other dentist is like, I would never do that. Composite bonding is just great. So I just said, look, unless you're Newton Fall, fuck off. It's going to look like shit. The bullshit that I see on Instagram, a lot of these guys shouldn't be publishing this shit because it looks like shit. They're just too stupid to realize it looks like shit.
And give it another 18 months, and it's like whitening your teeth. It's fucking back to yellow, and now you look like...
Well, no, this other dentist was like, no, I can just polish that up. Every 10 years, polish it up, look good as new. And I'm like, then show me your Instagram. I want to see the bullshit that you think is beautiful, because I'm going to tell you how shitty that is. I've had the problem is we do such high-end cosmetics that we get the demanding people that want perfection or so damn close to it. So we have to strive for it, because you can't recognize who really wants perfection.
Well, and you can't say to somebody, oh, I have a cheap alternative. You get what you fucking pay for. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get the same shoes at Walmart that you're going to get at Nordstrom.
Well, the problem is I used to try to give them, well, here's a cheap alternative, and then they'll take the cheap alternative, but no matter what, they expected the best.
The best.
And so then they're pissed off. They want their money back, and they tell all their friends that you're shitty, even though you're like, I gave you what you wanted.
I gave you cheap.
Yeah, you asked for cheap. So fuck you, Reddit dentist that says that, well, just give them composites. I can't believe you would say.
I cannot believe somebody would composite up somebody's tooth to make it longer and pass that off as a cosmetic alternative.
It's to patch things, and I love. We know lab techs, and they love when the dentists use their diagnostic wax ups and their matrices and their stuff, and then they pass it off like, "Look what I did," and they're like, "Fuck, dude, I did 90% of that. All you had to do was color in between the lines." I think that's what Keith said.
I thought that was Peter. I was like.
Well, it could have been Peter.
It could have been Peter. It was Peter or Keith.
Okay.
But they own their shit. I would see their stuff on Instagram and social media, and they fucking know how to do their shit.
These are British dental technicians. In Europe, they love trying to match that single tooth to that smoker's tooth.
Or that tetracycline tooth.
Yeah, all that crazy stuff that Americans want to like cover up and hide and stuff. And these guys, they want to show off their skills, because it takes amazing talent to stain it correctly, put that little craze line in there, make it look like they still smoke 6 packs of Pall Malls.
Marlboro Lights.
Marble Red. So
unfiltered.
That's Lucky Strike.
Oh, I don't know. All I know is
both.
I only know what clove smells like. I'm like someone smoking clove.
So, yeah, we're skipping Reddit for a little while, and Holly has. And
it's not really we're skipping it. It just is like,
because you got some pretty good stuff that can really jap my hide. So go ahead. What was that first one?
I gave them to you.
Oh, so you passed the buck.
I passed it all the way to the other chair.
Son of a bitch. So Holly's in this dental team member group.
I don't even know what it's called.
Well, it's usually anonymous member will post a question.
Anonymous team.
Anonymous member like has lots of problems.
There's a lot. Anonymous has got a fucked up life.
All right, so we had a situation today where a parent was being very hostile towards office staff when they brought their teenage kid in. They were demanding treatment be done, even though the kid hasn't been seen in years and obviously needs to be seen for an exam first. Treatment recommended years ago won't always be the same treatment now. Anyways, this was explained multiple times to the parent. And the parent was still belligerent and hostile towards both front office and clinical staff. The doctor is hesitant to dismiss the patient, pussy, because the kid is very nice and the doctor doesn't feel like the kid should be punished. Not entirely wrong. To note, this is the first time this parent has come with the child. We have always interacted with mom prior to this, and it's our first time meeting this other parent. Would it be possible to reach out to mom and explain what happened today and request a different guardian come in with the patient? Not really sure how to go about what the doctor is hoping for. Any advice would be great. Thanks.
So, okay.
So what did you say? Or are you going to want to leave with something else?
My question is, so you've got two different parents bringing this child in, and one of the parents is is the patient, is a regular patient with you?
Not entirely sure from this post. It's just that they haven't seen the kid in a long time, and usually when they did see the kid, they always saw the mom. So they finally saw this other parent. And I get not wanting to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't throw the kid out, you don't throw the mom out, but there needs to be a conversation with whoever is the primary adult patient that you have. Mm-hmm. If you've never met this one before, this is not the primary person.
Yeah. And
if you've known the other person a long time, you have a relationship.
And if the last time you saw this kid was December of 2019, guess what? You're going to be in very big trouble if you don't take x-rays and do a full comprehensive exam on this kid. You cannot not do the exam.
Did they get specific on what was being argued? Because
it sounded like they wanted him to just have his treatment and not
the original treatment. But they weren't even allowing diagnostics to be taken to see what's going on. Okay. Yeah, it's...
But I feel like...
Well, a lot of people forget that treatment plans usually have by default in the small print, this is only valid for 60 days or 90 days or something like that.
Yeah, but it's also...
it's usually a financial thing, but
part of me was... I'm reading this, and all I can see is that bitch at the front desk swinging her head and rolling her eyes and being, oh, no, 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 no.
That's what you do.
No, I don't. I am just very matter of fact.
Yeah.
And I always quote, I have not seen XYZ in over 3 years. I legally cannot see your child without an exam and x-rays. So if that doesn't work for you, I'm sorry, but my job is to protect the doctor's license and your child's well-being. So it's completely up to you how you would like to proceed. One will be in this office and one will be somewhere else.
Right. No, and there's a couple things. The way we run things in the office, we would have nipped this in the bud at the very beginning because it would have been, no, they're due for an exam, and they wouldn't have been brought back without already establishing, no, we're doing an exam first. We're doing x-rays, an exam, and if you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Well,
also, I don't like parents in the operatories.
I don't know why there's a parent anywhere past the front door.
Right. So all of this would have happened at the very, very beginning, and either they would have left immediately because you wouldn't let the parent back. And
that's my thing. So if the child is too young to sit independently in the chair, we will allow the parent to come back and hold the child. But if the child will not hold still on the mom's lap, they all go. Now, once your kid is old enough to sit in a chair by themselves, so 3 or 4, they come back by themselves.
Yeah.
We don't have operatories set up for an audience.
Yeah. And usually it's a control thing. The parent wants to be in control, their helicopter, all that kind of stuff. It's also a control thing on my part. I don't like having the kids manipulate the parents so they'll behave very poorly if the parent's in the room. Kids actually behave pretty well when they're not there with the parent. Now, I'll always make sure that I'm never alone with the child. I always have my assistant in the room and things like that. I never want to set things up for he said, she said, or anything like that. But I do think a lot of people run offices poorly by saying, just bring the parent back.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up.
There should never be a parent back there. There should always be a secondary person.
The assistant.
And there should always be an open door. Our operatories are completely open, so it doesn't really matter.
It's less important, but you can still have people.
But I had a mom who was completely phobic, super high strung, and she brought her kids to us for the first time, and which is always weird to me because we don't see the mom. And the assistant came out front to get their daughter, and she started to walk to the door. I said, "Oh, your daughter has an appointment. You don't have an appointment. There's not room back there for you. So go ahead and sit down. She's going to be just fine." And the daughter was completely fine with the whole situation. The mom was the one having a total panic attack. And the daughter went back. She had her appointment. She came out. She's like, her mom was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "That was so much fun. That was great." These parents are fucking up their kids.
Yeah. The kid was like, "I finally got away from you."
Yeah. Woohoo. Well, that's exactly what I said to you after all 3 of the kids came back and they were all super happy. And the mom like needed to take a pill. She had the vapors or something. She was stressing out. And I was like, "Ma'am, you brought them to an appointment. This is not a pediatric."
Yeah.
They're not going to.
Yeah, we're not a pediatric office. It should be obvious with the art and everything going on in the place.
Yeah.
So if you need the way that pediatric offices run, go to a pediatric office.
But the reason that you're not at a pediatric office is because you don't want your kids to be at a pediatric office.
Yeah.
So, but
pick your poison, bitch.
I just don't understand that. First of all, if you're allowing the parents to go back into the operatory, even if you're friends with the fucking parents, this is not their appointment. This is how you teach people to adult, is you take them back, you ask them questions. And I hate to say this, this may be the only appointment that those kids get with another adult that they can share something that is going on in their family.
Right. To be honest, this is a way for these kids to expose the abuse that's going on.
If there is an abusive situation, this is their only shot. They're not going to have this shot anywhere else.
They're not likely to come out with it, so you have to read the signs and all that kind of stuff.
You have to read the signs, and you have to go.
It might be, your third appointment with them, and they finally trust you. And
this is where you're looking at, sweetie, are you having some problem with acid reflux? This is how you find out if there's bulimia going on. They're never going to say, "Oh yeah, I go in the bathroom and barf every lunch because I'm afraid I'm going to be fat," in front of their mom sitting in their operatory room.
There's that. Yeah.
If you have parents going back into your operatories, you're idiots.
There's a lot of idiots out there.
I know. God damn it.
So what did the idiots, or the consensus, what did they say to this anonymous member?
They all told her to be really, really careful with it.
Well, it's definitely a delicate situation.
And, there was a couple of valid, is this a divorce situation? You need to be really careful about shit talking one parent over the other parent. But if there's an aggressive situation, you need to have a policy in place in your office that your leadership is going to, hence the last time or 2 times ago, when they had to send their front desk home to think about how she getting abused by the patient was her fault. Fuck off.
Yeah. Oh, dumbasses.
You need to have.
It's a non-issue when you have things, when it's just legal. Shouldn't even be a debate.
And to me, this would have been super easy. All the doctor had to do is say, "I am legally obligated to do an exam on your child and to re-diagnose what is going on." So this is a
non-negotiable. We can't even debate this.
What's amazing to me is so many doctors don't know how to communicate.
No, they don't.
They don't know how to communicate at all, socially, in business.
Well, and too many, like when I had gone down to an office recently and I just kind of put the line in the sand and said, "No, this is the way it's going to be done. I'm not going to waver from this. So if you want this other alternative, you need to find someplace else." It's really easy. When you draw a line in the sand, it's really easy to be.
Well, as long as you're never moving the line.
Yeah.
So it can't be, "Oh, I like this person, so I'm going to budget and give it." And I mean, we've had patients that have come back to us after 10 years and we're like, "Where'd you go?" And they're like, "Nowhere. I just haven't been to the dentist."
Which is always so weird to me.
And I'm like, "Okay, so happen. Just so you know, you're basically a brand new patient. But you've known me this whole time." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I haven't been hanging out in your mouth. I don't know what the fuck's going on."
Well, and we have a pretty standard, if every 3 years we're doing a comprehensive exam.
Yeah, but we have things in place, so the staff knows.
I'm taking a full series of x-rays. I'm doing a pano. I'm doing an iTero scan. And if I see something funny, I'm probably doing a CBCT as well. So sorry that it was only 3 to 5 years ago that we already did. If you have like no restorations and you're I'm not going to let it, I'm probably more like 5 years. But if you've got a lot going on and a lot to monitor,
Well,
I want to get the fine tooth comb out.
But I just don't understand why this was even.
Yeah, I'm surprised it got brought up.
Why it was so blown out of proportion that she took it to a forum and asked for advice. I don't understand.
Well, it sounds like a boss who hasn't empowered his team to put their foot down.
Well, and I hate to say it, it's probably a DSO where they are basically hired to be targets for these people. And
that could be,
I have no idea, but I'm sorry. If you are a fee for service office or an office that wants to do and be better, your patient is the only one that's in the operatory, not their entire goddamn family.
Yeah.
It's even one extra person is going to change the dialogue that is happening in the operatory.
Yeah. Okay. We got time for another one.
Okay.
Anonymous member
Again,
writes.
Anonymous has been busy.
Anonymous gets around. I work for a small dental office, and the doctor only works 2 days a week in our location. We have an answering service, and a potential new patient just left a message saying she wants an appointment. The doctor texted me at home, it's my day off, and told me to call her. I am not comfortable calling patients on my personal cell phone. I have made that mistake before on previous jobs, and I get calls on a Sunday about an appointment. My question is, do you have to call people from home on days off with your personal cell phone? And I'm not talking about a patient of record who's in pain. I'm talking about a non-emergent appointment. What, Yapi?
Yeah, Yapi is a great option. That's what we use.
Yeah.
Because I can text patients from my computer, and I can have a conversation with them and not have it be so creepy.
Yeah.
But also,
I mean, I don't totally disagree that using your personal cell phone, because once they're in their contacts.
Yeah, but then you can just block them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's always an option, but okay, now I forgot.
Our daughter just came home, and so we
paused for a second.
So I will have edited out the gap. But you'll probably wonder, why did they lose their train of thought? They were like literally mid-thought, and suddenly it's gone.
Yeah.
Calling from your personal cell phone.
I kind of gotten stuck with that a few times, and I don't appreciate it because people, when you're at the front desk and you've known these people for 20 years, they feel like now that they have your phone number, they have a right to just send you a quick text because it's not a big deal. And it's annoying.
Yeah.
It's really, truly annoying.
So I think, because I think, especially when
my other question really quick, I'm going to pause because I'm going to forget because I have early onset Alzheimer's, I think.
Yeah. I believe it.
If the call was so important, why didn't the doctor just call?
Exactly. Why
did he need to take and push his shit onto her personal time?
Well, not only that, this is a new, I think it was a new patient, right?
Yes.
So this is a new patient. This isn't an emergency. You should have a protocol in place to handle these kinds of things.
Is it just you and this person that work your entire office? You don't have a hygienist that can make the call, or an assistant that can make the call, or whoever's currently working your front desk can make the call?
I just think it does need to be something like Yapi, where you can make that type of interaction without giving up your...
But my biggest problem is he's pushing his need.
Well, we'd have to find out, is this... what do they normally do? Does this happen all the time?
Well, it sounds like she's surprised.
Okay, because it seems to me that if he's only there 2 days a week, this has to have come up before. What is their normal protocol? Unless she's a new hire and doesn't realize, wait a second, why am I having to do things on my days off? If you're going to be a 2 day a week doctor, then there has to be something in there to compensate for the people, because I think it shouldn't be ignored for the other 6 days.
Yeah, I agree with that. But there needs to be, like, we're only there 3 days a week, and we need to start. We're working on getting somebody at least coming and answering our phones a couple of days.
Well, we had a service that was handling our leads and things 5 days a week. So we weren't doing anything on weekends, although I would monitor the stuff and quite often respond through the dashboard so that it was not my personal phone that they got. But I wasn't expecting anybody else to do that. But if we were not using that service, then there has to be somebody, because it is 4 days a week off. That's a long time for people to leave a message. What if they call Wednesday night?
But you also have to think, okay, if they're only working 2 days a week for you, they are most likely working for somebody else the other 3 to 4 days a week. And they have another obligation that isn't you.
Right.
So if it's that important to you, you need to hire someone to be fielding those calls, or you need to get Yapi and you need to do it yourself incognito.
Or it needed to have been at the time you hired them. Hey, I'm going to be expecting you to be returning new patient calls or whatever. And there needs to be some sort of compensation. If this is your personal time, then, $10 a phone call or something to make you not go
resent it and try to find another job
and be on an anonymous poster in a Facebook group.
It's mind-boggling.
Because I see both sides, but they should have established this before now.
Yeah.
It's a little late now to start having that.
Because I'm married to you. I work at the office, and I'm still irritated if you say, I need you to call so-and-so.
Oh, I know.
And it's a Saturday, and I'm like,
I see it in your eyes.
You can fucking call them.
I know. That's what you say. Those are actually the words. And
people respond to the doctor.
Well, I know. So since we do some big ticket things, I think if someone's spending $40,000, it's not an unreasonable ask to have the doctor call them at night as needed when something goes wrong. If an arch of PMMA, it often breaks. Well, who's going to be there to fix it? So I think the personal cell phone of the doctor, I do think people do respect it more, so they don't abuse it. That's why we still get people that if they have both of our numbers, they're messaging you mostly, and not me. And so. And
now I have do not disturb.
Yeah,
every
I know.
Time they call me.
I've noticed how you've learned the nuances of the iPhone.
So they can text me all they want, but they get a response. Holly's not available.
Holly's driving.
Holly's leaving. Holly's quit her job and run away.
No, there's that. Yeah. So I think we have time for one more. Okay. Anonymous member. Man, this person is everywhere. Needy.
They are busy and they work for a shitty ass dentist.
Sounds like it. Okay. We have a nice family that comes to our office with 2 teen boys. Unfortunately, every time the boys come in for their 6-month recare, each of them has 5 to 7 cavities, most likely from all the soda and energy drinks at school all day long. Even though they have insurance, Mom is extremely sick of all the copays and announced that the boys will be paying their copays from now on since they refuse to take care of their teeth properly. Their balance is over $300 at 90 days now. Technically, I know the parents are responsible for the bill, but how do we go about collecting the copays without the balance getting bigger and bigger? We can't not treat the kids because the parents are adamant the kids pay for it themselves. Such a weird situation. First, maybe you shouldn't suck so bad at fillings that they don't last very long.
Well, we've had patients, a lot of these young athletes that are coming in that, they've seen us for 20 years and they've actually never had a cavity. They go off to college and they are playing, soccer, and they're all these alcoholic drinks that are mixed with, Red Bulls and shit like this. And they have no idea. They're just having a great time. And then they come in and they have 11 cavities, and you hate to do cavities. So in order for you to have to fill those teeth, they have to have substantial.
Yeah, they gotta exist. It can't be that. Well, I see 2 pixels here. Yeah, fuck the pixels.
I remember I sat down with both of them. I had 2 girls, and they were both college soccer players, and they both had the exact same thing. They came home for Christmas, and they came, and I sat them both down. And I said, "This is what's happening. You need to fucking knock it off." And both of the girls looked at me and I said, "You're going to end up losing your teeth because you're trying to do this cool thing with these girls in your soccer team.
Oh, the Four Loko.
And you keep this up and you're going to be a mess." And I said, right now you need to take this $1,500 bill to your mom because she's going to have to pay this. And I don't know if she's going to make you do chores or if she's just going to suck it up, but I know she's going to be pissed because she's going to tell me all about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And both of the girls' moms came back to me and they're like, I don't know what you said to them, but they are so freaked out. They're like, I am never having that ever again. And she goes, they've asked me for floss and water picks. I'm like, good. They need to quit fucking around.
Well, a lot of them didn't understand that, hey, if you drink your Gatorade and then put your mouth guard in,
you're marinating
you're
your teeth.
soaking your teeth in.
And so
yeah.
I have this legit, I have it with every single one of my athlete kids that come through. I'm like, you need to understand there is a severe consequence to doing this. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do it, just know eventually your mom's going to quit paying the bill and this is going to end up being yours. And by the time it's yours, these aren't going to be fillings anymore. These are going to be root canals and crowns.
Yeah.
And I'm just back to this question.
Mm-hmm. Because Anonymous really needs your advice.
Well, my advice to her was, if the boys are under 18, legally the bill is their parents. So you need to bring mom in or give her a call or whatever and say, I totally support the boys having to pay for this, but you are legally obligated to pay for Dr. Timmerman's time.
And it's after 90 days, so they're going to collections, and it's going to be your name.
Your name's going to collections. You can't pass this off on your kids.
It's a great lesson you're teaching them, but you're going to pay the price.
And I support it. I have no problem giving them the talk.
Putting their name on the thing and saying, address it to them.
Yeah, I have no problem trying to scare them into it. But realistically, do they have the money to pay for it? Because the only person who's going to get in trouble is the mom.
Yeah.
And so I am a huge advocate. Like, I have this whole family, this poor, God bless his dad. He's got 5 little girls. Ooh. And they all come in and they're all under the age of like 9. And
oh, were they just in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're super cute.
Oh yeah.
But the dad, he basically made all of his kids be guinea pigs first, but he was like, I want my kids to have good care. Cause I think they're from Ethiopia. I'm not really sure where they're from.
I think you're right.
But he just really wanted his girls to be taken care of. And so every time the girls come out, I tell them, yeah, what did they say back there? And they're like, they said I was really, really good. I said, okay, because it gets very expensive and it makes there's a lot of chores that end up having to be done if you don't take care of your teeth. Because if dad has to pay a bill, that's coming out of your hide. And they're like, okay.
And yeah, they mostly healthy.
They're super cute girls. And
super cute.
They're really trying, but I always talk to them. I talk to them every time. I talk to all of my college and high school kids because I'm like, you guys need to understand that what you do right now is important. And I watch a lot of offices where they've got so many people up front, nobody's making that connection. Yeah. And, these kids have known me since they were, 5. And I just think that this front office needs to have it come into Jesus with mom, first of all. And then they need to have it come into Jesus with the boys. Yeah.
Support mom by having them come to Jesus talk with the boys saying, you got to pay this.
Well, also, they need to understand is once there's a filling on that tooth, there's always work to be done on that tooth. And eventually mom and dad aren't going to be paying your bills. And those bills are not getting any cheaper. Yeah. This is the cheapest it's ever going to be.
Especially with Biden inflation. It's only getting worse.
But that's the thing is they need to understand that right now it's a one surface filling. Eventually it's not going to be a one surface filling.
1 becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes the whole damn thing.
Yeah. And so having that conversation with them is worth it. It's valuable. It's valuable to them as lifelong advice. Yeah. Yeah. So I support her in being frustrated, but there needs to be a little bit of education going on in both camps. Yeah. The mom needs some education and so do the boys.
For sure. For sure. All right.
All right.
Well, I think that should wrap it up.
Okay.
We've probably annoyed both our listeners, so it's time for us to...
Thanks for listening to us.
Yeah. So please rate and review. Holly, if someone wanted to message you directly...
They don't want to message me directly,
Okay.
so
All right.
they'll just message you, and then you'll just tell me.
If they wanted to, how would they?
I'm Globetrotter Grub on Instagram.
Okay.
And...
Not Travel Girl 71?
No, that's my private one.
Oh, okay.
They're not invited to do that.
Gotcha. All right. Or you can message me on Dr. Timmerman DMD at Instagram. We also have a Working Interferences. I forgot if it's still there on Instagram. We don't.
It's
use
Winterferences, though.
Oh yeah.
I think that's weird.
Well, there's a character limit, so we couldn't be Working Interferences. It was too long, so we went with Winterferences.
Okay, still weird.
It's. It is what it is. It's already there. It's been like that for 5 years. Yeah, they all know. So we thought we would end the show with a song that is near and dear, but covered by Me First and the Gimme Gimmes is a super group. So back in 1995, members of other punk rock bands, more pop punk than anything, got together and they became a cover band called Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. So Spike Slauson of Swingin' Utters and Revolts, Fat Mike from NoFX, Joey Cape of Lagwagon, and Dave Ron of Lagwagon and RKL. And Chris Shiflett from Foo Fighters also played with them for a little while. But they covered a song that, given this weekend, I think was very appropriate. And it was Holly's idea, but I decided let's find someone who covers it. Me First and the Gimme's doing Leaving on a Jet Plane. So for Holly Timmerman, this is Lance Timmerman. Peace.
I love you.
All my bags are packed and ready to go. I'm standing here outside the tower. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking, it's early morning. Taxi's waiting, it's blown, it's on. Already I'm so lonesome I could die. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go. So many times I let you down there. So many times I fucked around. I tell you now, they don't mean nothing. There's every place I go, I'll think of you. Every song I sing, I'll sing for you. When I come back, I'll bring your wedding ring. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go. Now the time has come to leave you. One more time and let me kiss you. Close your eyes and I'll be on my way. Dream about the days to come when I won't have to leave alone. About the times when I won't have to say, okay.